momentum going as well, and it looks as if the Adelaide Crows are going to be a contender in 2015 too. So a little bit is changing. Let's go back to the Adelaide Oval. The second half about to get underway between Port Adelaide and the Sydney Swans, and it's the Swans leading at the moment by 20 points.
As to what they might do tactically here, Port Adelaide, really interesting game this one. It's the Swans by 20 points. Ryder.
Port Adelaide free kick, Robbie Gray.
Well, this will help.
Against Dan Hanbury there, being held around that stoppage.
One man was right on him there.
Gray appealing for 50. The footy didn't come back on the full. And as far as I'm concerned, Richard, that's technically a 50. And they get another free kick here. We'll go Westhoff's way. Here's Jack.
That's just a smaller opponent panicking against Westhoff. Kieran Jack.
See already a fair bit more movement inside 50. The Swans get back and number out the back. Monfries, well, he nearly had possession of it. He was going to run into an open goal. Rampy there to save the day, and the short one is on. Craig Berg has got hold of it.
And Darcy, I'd love to see Port Adelaide get an advantage from this matchup. Berg's been doing the job on Travis Boak all night. Boak's had the 13 possessions as Mike Pike takes a very strong grab, but he's only had the one kick, so one kick, 12 handballs for 52 metres gained. So Berg's held him in check really well. Maybe not such a good kick by Mike Pike.
Johnny Longmire just realising he was on camera then, and they tend to back off when they realise that.
Reece Shaw was desperate for the ball to be switched out to that far side. He had space to work in. It would have been a very risky kick. Would have had to hang in the air for too long.
Pomps sets up Jonas. Jonas over the top to Alapati Carlisle. Now Corns. 5 more games to get the 300. The first ever Port player to achieve that. It has been an absolute sensation. 4 best and fairest for Corns. Alapati Carlisle here as well. Playing his 15th season is Kane Corns. As Monfries is helped over the line by McVeigh.
Well, look at this, BT, your favourite movie. Bit of Anchorman 2, bit of Ron Burgundy.
He didn't mind Anchorman 1 as well, Richo. I like them both.
You like Ron? You've got a bit of Ron Burgundy about you.
Not
with that
really.
moustache.
Not really.
Now about White. Well, started as a sub tonight. He was activated early. The kick is going to be taken pretty comfortably back there by Richards. Rampy will get them moving. Rowan, just get a look at the leg speed there as he pushed out wide. Franklin wants it. Beautiful ball from Rowan.
Oh, Jack's out too.
Great transition play this from the Swans, and Richo was all over it. Kieran Jack had got off his marker. It was Matty Broadbent pushed all the way inside 50, and the Swans from deep in defence to attack. Really nice movement.
Yeah, we haven't seen many chains of possession like that all night tonight. 3 marks down this side of the ground, and Jack gets a shot on goal.
Swans best and fairest in 2010. Kieran Jack, he was an All-Australian in 2013. Found the going a little tougher last year. He had some of the best taggers in the game assigned to him. This is a big moment for Kieran Jack. Beautiful looking drop punt kick, and the Swans get the first of the second half and a game-high lead of 26 points.
What a great finish, but it was a terrific passage of play. Pinpoint pass after pinpoint pass around the boundary line. There was no margin for error in that play. It was perfect from the Swans. And a 26-point lead in not a high-scoring game is a tough margin for Port to get back.
Thanks, Penny. Coming out this side, Ollie, Josh.
Just clinical football here by Sydney, using the ball, not taking any real risks with the ball, just high-quality ball use, not allowing Port Adelaide to have any chance at all. Ends up in Kieran Jack's hands, goal. Just superb play by the Swans.
Boy, Port now officially have got to get on their bikes. Here's White, tries to turn Shaw inside out. Handball over the top to Wines, just got rid of it, and Boak on the lead.
Yeah, good play from the centre. Well done, Matty White. He nearly pulled the trigger and went to Schultz. He saw Grundy coming in to cut it off, and he had enough presence to get it to Wines, who's found Boak.
Really their best clearance forward of the night.
Yeah, that was good play.
Clean Boak.
15 seconds gone.
Still a difficult shot. He's got a kick at 48. And he's on a fairly acute angle. In fact, he's made a real mess of it. Knocked back into play by Ryder for a second chance. And Laidler rushed the behind.
That last play that Lingy highlighted from the Swans around the boundary line, it was pinpoint passing, but it was also Franklin and Rowan prepared to push 50 metres into space.
McVeigh's kick was searching for Gary Rowan. He really wanted the footy growing in confidence. He might have taken Trengove too high, I thought. Nothing doing free kick-wise. And again, they move it nicely along the boundary.
Thanks, Adam. Paddy, home now.
But he's got it. His work rate's been enormous, but pushed high up the ground. Now he wants it deep in the one-on-one. Back there is Towers. Out the back, Isaac Heaney. He's got some talent, this young man. They almost fell into his back. Lloyd picks it up. I think Lloyd will kick that from there. And he has done. The crowd goes silent. 2 in a row to the Swans. And they're out to a 31-point lead.
He's got some concerns. Kenny Hinkley out to a 5-goal lead now. Franklin's starting to find a little bit of space. The game seems to be opening up. And that was desperation by young Heaney. He got after that ball at ground level and forced it back into some space for Lloyd. That was great from young Isaac Heaney there. He forced his way to front position, didn't give up on it, pushed the ball back out. The 3 Port Adelaide players harassing him, and that created the goal for Lloyd.
All right, back in the middle.
Holding the man, Robbie Gray.
Sydney just forging ahead here. Way back out there.
Tackle in the ground. The footy was over there.
Ready to
Time back
go.
on.
Kicked 4 consecutive goals now here, Sydney. And starting to really get hold of this one. That kick was misdirected. Reid now. What can Port do to ignite the crowd and get them involved, get themselves involved here, get some excitement back in their play? Pittard knocked down Gray, fast hands, winds, little give, that's better, good linking, quick sharp handball. Gray drives it a little longer than Monfries wanted it. Laidler did well. Now Grundy in the back half, but the pressure coming. Little one wide to Smith. Down the line. Went early, Parker.
Sydney's ability to crowd the Port Adelaide forward line and have that spare is now starting to really impact this game. Each time Port Adelaide have gone forward, it's gone to an outnumber. Sydney just being able to control it, and as soon as they win it back, that's when they're using that real clinical ball use around the boundary a little bit. I reckon they've got to go the even numbers now. I think they're going to fix it up and try and beat them in a contest.
And again, around the clearance situation, the Swans have gained the most benefit. Isaac Heaney looks like he's played 200 games, that young man. It's only his second. The one-on-one. Well, Tippett thought he was going to swallow it. Trengove did well, and then holding the footy. They're going to pay advantage. Hanbury, he's got his second goal, and they've blown this wide apart, the Swans. They lead by 37.
Settle. Jackson, go high.
There's a bit going on. The Port players now getting frustrated. That's just strength again from Kurt Tippett. Nearly took the mark. Just cocked one young Isaac Heaney in the eye there. He's going to have a nice shiner tomorrow. But they're just winning 50-50 balls inside their forward, 50 at the moment. Contested 50-50 balls. Creating goals out of nothing.
Five in a row. Trengove just bit off a bit more than he could chew. And Hanbury with his second mopped it up. Goal umpire had to do a bit of fast footwork as well. Back in the middle, 37-point lead here at the moment from Sydney. Gray to Hartlett. Hartlett on the wing. This team can score fast when they have to, and they now have to, but opposition is just clamp-like in their efforts.
It's a real statement here from the Swans tonight.
Coming to the middle.
A lot of talk this week about Hawthorn being far superior to the rest of the competition. Well, this is a little bit of a reminder here that this Sydney team...
White. Centering ball. No one there. Richards probably could have marked it if he wanted. And we'll throw it in deep.
Just letting everyone know why they were pretty much the top team for most of last year until the Hawks took out the premiership.
So maybe the weight of expectation Port Adelaide is starting to build. The experts suggesting that they almost a lock-in for top 4. Well, it's a tough start to the year, and now they find themselves with a real challenge on their hands. Plenty of time to claw back in. Free kicks going against Mike Pike, and he's not happy at all.
Went past the ball, jumped into him.
Hands on it. He's making a ball.
Went past the ball, jumped into him first.
I have my hand. If it's my hand, how did it block?
Mark's there. That's a mark there.
Very polite, respectful Mike Pike there.
Right decision, Das.
Well, I think his argument was, so long as I got my hand on it, I actually made a genuine play for the footy. Regardless, the free kick's going to stand. Port desperately need a goal. Can Ryder kick his second? He has. Can this spark Port Adelaide and get the crowd going here at Adelaide Oval?
A couple of goals now to Paddy Ryder. Kicks one in that second quarter and makes the most of that one there. And I think the call that Cameron Ling made about evening up the numbers, I think it is happening now as I look down on the ground.
It's coming out this way, guys.
So the free kick here against Mike Pike, and the decision umpire is that you took Ryder's space, you didn't allow him to have a genuine run at the football. Pike's argument is, well, I actually got my hand on the footy, and I think it's a pretty fair argument.
Yep, pretty technical one there. McVeigh.
We've got 1-on-1 now in Port's forward line. Lingy said it was time, and it has happened.
31 points, by no means is this game over. Port, as I said before, a quick scoring. Great defensive team, Sydney, we know that. But can they find a way through? Westhoff. Down the line, here's White, activated. Earlier than perhaps they would have liked. But he's already contributing to the team here. Short ball finds Hartlett.
Well, BT, they've got to move it forward now and quickly because it's 1-on-1 inside forward 50.
Non-freeze. Ollie Wines, you can see the players really spreading here.
See that wide shot? It's 1-on-1. You've got to give the forwards a chance now. They haven't had 1-on-1s tonight.
Laidler. Turnover complete. Mike Pike wants Laidler to be the kicker, and he goes down the line. It was a horrible kick, so they've given it back here, Sydney, after that hard defensive work as we have a wide look again. You can see the one-on-ones everywhere here. A real opportunity for Polak, but he's under enormous Jetta pressure. Jetta keeps coming. Got it to Jonas. Now they've found a way through. They can go. White to centre-half forward. Sees Monfries. He marks. Wheels around. Little chipper. The magnetic ball to Schultz on the lead. Great construction of that play there, Port.
Yeah, great play through the corridor, and that's the first time I reckon Jay Schultz has been able to lead up the middle of the ground. As we have a look at the replay here, Angus Monfries knows there's no loose player back now. Schultz can lead straight up the middle of the ground. Very, very hard for Sam Reid to defend that.
A must goal. It'll be the first time they've kicked consecutive goals in the game. If he gets it, it's tight. It's tight. It's Woodwork.
Didn't get his normal momentum there, Jay.
Looked like the shortish run up, didn't it?
Yeah, just poked at it a little bit.
Yeah, that really hurts. Just felt like they needed that injection of confidence, and maybe they'll get another opportunity here. Jonas got it to Robbie Gray. Pittard, there's options inside 50. Oh, he just went the short one, looking for Ollie Wines. He had a couple others that were maybe a little more certain. Again, it's the Sydney defence standing strong. Nick Smith back there. Although now Rampy's kick out of bounds on the full, so they can reload again here.
Good signs from Port here, Das.
Just starting to build. They're starting to run more and find a bit of space.
And Das, it's coming off the back of Robbie Gray. They've thrown him into the middle of the ground. He's had the 6 possessions so far, but he's also had the 3 clearances, getting really busy around those contests. Such a good player.
Yeah, clever play here from Pollock. He faked to go outside, then came in board to weave it. Now they've got it out wide to the hands of Monfries. Short one's on to Wines. Still 2 kicks from home. There's numbers back for Sydney.
Wines wants to wind up. He takes his time, goes long. Here comes Schultz, attacks the footy. Reid did well not to knock the arms. He was careful.
And Josh Kennedy hasn't touched the football this quarter, so Gray getting into it. The man that was best on ground at half-time, Kennedy, as Koshy watches on, hasn't touched the ball.
See what Port can do here. Sydney still holding strong. Have been exceptional tonight. The Sydney Swans, slow start last week, great finish. Good start tonight, that man. Adam Good still to come on the ground. Games record holder with 352 games for Goods. Probably will pass Lockett and Hall with goals kicked for Sydney if he plays enough games this year, which is a good effort and shows his longevity in the game. Interestingly, with Adam Goods, not in the team of the century, as it was selected when he was only in his 4th year. So you would expect if it was selected now, he'd certainly be there. So he's just got to wait 100 years for another one for him to get in.
Great tackle.
There's a great tackle.
That's him up there.
And Schultz gets a chance to redeem from the last kick. They are in desperate need of this goal to get it under 30.
Gee, you love to see that. You're full forward, running down Rampy there from behind. Great tackle, and I reckon he'll kick this one, BT. He would have learned from his mistake. He doesn't miss 2 in a row. Very much, Jay Schultz.
No, he's a great converter. Is Schultz. This time he gets that fluent run-up that he's renowned for. Kick on the way. This one's right, Richo. And boy, can you put a Moz or 2 on a full forward kicking for goal.
I'm the cooler. Just bring me in when you want something to go. The miss, the cooler.
Well, the Power's starting to apply some of their own pressure at the moment. They need reward on the scoreboard. Schultz missed a couple that you would back him in 90% plus of the time. Kennedy have been able to slow him down a little bit here so far in the second half. He hunts the footy now. Wines gets attacked front on. He'll earn a free kick. A little bit of Hanbury-Wines by play. A little bit of verbal going on there.
Still going too. Dan Hanbury on the mark is letting Wines have it. 2 hard nuts. Love that.
What a young star this man is. Just 20 years of age. Out the back, Ryder. Almost wanted to claim the mark. They set upon him. Schultz has left his rating. Gray's been big, as Cameron Ling pointed out in this 3rd quarter. Couldn't get it to Weaver. But once again, they're inside 50. They've had the bulk of the play here in the last 6 or 7 minutes. They need scoreboard pressure desperately.
8 of the last 10 inside 50s, in fact, us. For Port Adelaide. Ryder doing the ruck work down there with Tippett. Knock forward, Parker, handball sideways, pressure. They've forced turnover after turnover. High ball, top of the square. Off hands.
Gee, that's a good spoil. Came from behind, but then had the presence of mind, Sam Reid, to spoil it. He was aiming for the points, but he got it out of bounds. Really good spoil. Didn't hit it back into the corridor.
Great shot there of all the players in a very narrow area. Went without it there, Gray. Threw his hands in disbelief as he knew he could have been on his way. Here's Buddy, happy to find the boundary. Very happy with that. And we'll throw it in once again. So the pressure building on Sydney, but they've had an answer for it all night. Look at the time in forward half in the last 10 minutes. 79% to 21. Amazing. And inside 50s in the last 10 as a result of that, 7-1.
Got to make the most of that dominance. They've kicked 1 goal, 3 for the quarter, and Jay Schultz missing 2 goals he'd normally kick.
So keep your eye on Boat. Gray, they've got Ebert, Redden in the ruck. High quality, small on ballers and small forwards who are capable of doing some damage. They've got their confidence up at the moment. Ebert's chipping ball is going to be pretty good. Oh, Ryder. Rampy, he's a great one-on-one defender. Back to Ryder, floating kick round the corner.
Must cut through the goals. Angus back 5, back 5. Must cut
Sam
through.
Reid.
That's it, hold there, Angus.
He's the loose man in defence. He plays his role regularly for Sydney. Happy just to get it out of defensive 50. Trengove on his back. Redden took possession of the footy. Coming through Jack. Rampy's been important. McVeigh back into the side after 5 weeks off with a calf and squaring ball.
I think they're through here, Sydney. They've got it wide to Jeddah. White closes him down. Gary Rowan's on the bike further down the field. They won't get to him. So they've found a way through, but Rowan's dropped it. The tackle didn't stick. It was a bad tackle. And now an opportunity for Sydney. Here comes Parker. Best and fairest of last year. Jonas out the back. He's coughed it up. Given it to McVeigh. And he runs into an open goal.
Oh, that kills you. Kenny Hinkley can't believe it. We just highlighted the time in forward half, the inside 50 support Adelaide. They couldn't convert. It goes down the other end. The Swans haven't had an inside 50 for a long time. a turnover, and now they're back out to a 35-point lead. So frustrating for Port Adelaide.
Thanks, Josh.
So McVeigh, he read it beautifully in the end, and probably just devastation for Port Adelaide, Rich. As you said, they've had all the play, all the inside 50s, and I'm going to pay credit to Sydney. They have performed brilliantly tonight. Polak again under more pressure. Kennedy squeezes it out to Kieran Jack, who's been an outstanding performer tonight. Didn't get sort of purchase on that footy he would have liked. Out of bounds on the full.
It's a sign of a good team, though, Sydney, isn't it? They just withstood all of that pressure that Port Adelaide threw at them. You guys mentioned the inside 50s, the time in forward half. They just held up. They're able to go down the length of the ground and go bang. Kick a goal and have another shot. Could be another one.
And now Skiller is creeping in. Kane Corns' kick was a 15-metre ball that missed the target, but he picked it up. He liked his chances from there. And a minor score. So under 7 minutes remaining in the third term, and a 36-point margin feels a long way home for Port Adelaide from here.
Westhoff caught with the ball, footy there. They are an incredible side, the Swans. They've won 18 of their past 19 games against teams not named Hawthorn. They just keep winning against everyone except them. Opportunity Westhoff at ground level. And Port, I'm not saying by any means this is over, but next week they've got a tough one against North, and then they play Hawthorn and Adelaide, so they've got to find a win somewhere.
Well, North Melbourne in Melbourne, that's going to be tough for them. And then you mentioned the next two, Hawthorn, and then the showdown.
Sydney got GWS next week. Jeddah around the corner with a beautiful non-preferred foot pass. Boak just got bullied out of the way by Buddy. Got him right up the sternum. Trengove, Corns high up and under. Pittard had to jump and wait a little. Sold it on the inside, gives it outside. Now Port got a little bit of a run here. Hartlett boxed in. Kick along the ground to Schultz. Got to be clean at ground level. He wasn't.
Throw it in.
Have a look at this. Two toughies. Bang! Buddy.
Hey, Lee, it's a different set of circumstances Port Adelaide find themselves in this year. The expectation is the glamour side, if you like, the trendsetters in the way you play, and huge amount of expectation of what they can achieve this year. And do you think that might be a factor? Do you think that may be weighing on the way they're going about it tonight? I'll come back to you on that as they go forward here. Monfries, is he taken high?
High contact, Port Adelaide.
He was.
That's a big word, Das. That expectation, it weighs very, very heavily, but if they can get over it, gee, they're every chance to win the premiership at this start. Is a tough one for them. The first 5 rounds are big for Port.
Yep, they are really feeling the heat at the moment. Isaac Heaney, what about this young man? His second game, he looked like he's destined for greatness already. He did really well. Rowan tried to take him on. That's a good win.
Yeah, Rowan came up the interchange bench and anticipated that ball. Well done.
Westhoff now in the middle. Immediately peels it off. Pittard. Need says go. Old Shepherd, and he does. Took a bounce. Tried to take him on. He got caught with the footy. Just got it away on the handball in the nick of time. Still under pressure here, Sydney. Westhoff with a low bullet. Looking for something in wide inside 50. Grundy had to get rid of it. Cracking in as Rowan. Now Jeddah just gets it out of the area. But guess what? I think it's going to come back because Trengo's probably going to arrive before anyone else. Towers applies some pressure. Spinning move out of trouble. Paddy Carlisle back to Trengove. Funny little kick over the top, but it comes off and they're away again. They reload Port Adelaide. Here goes Wines to Monfries. Couldn't get the double grab on it. Now the ball at ground level. Still under pressure. Good stuff from Port. Wines ran into the tackle. Monfries got it high. Or it was Wingard, in fact. And Wingard has the free. Little chipping ball is not good, and Teddy does the rest.
Yeah, Chet Wingard's had a pretty quiet night tonight.
Move it on.
Just the 10 possessions and 1 goal, and communication there was a little astray.
He had the right idea. It was the right kick, but Teddy Richards just anticipated it really well.
Oh, Parker got some height over the top of Red and went through his hands. Polak's tried hard tonight. Play on was the option. Redden didn't want to take it. It'll come back to Polak, who's worked hard. He's had some moments in the game that have looked creative, but again, he looks up and there's just not a lot of movement forward. Sits it up on the head of Schultz. Third man in, Laidler. And they have combined beautifully, the Swans' defence right across the game tonight, Richard.
They've got some really talented forwards, obviously. But their key forwards aren't really the stand and deliver. You know, stand under a high ball like a Tippett or a Franklin down the other end. Schultz likes to get on the move. Westhoff, Ryder. They're not that big contested mark one-on-one type player.
One every quarter. The Swans are led by 12 points at quarter time, 20 at half time, and extended it out at the moment, BT, to a 36-point margin. Been a pretty comprehensive performance so far from the Swans.
It has.
And I just wonder, Richard, if that's what they lack to be that absolute best team in the competition. That bloke they can bail out, kick the ball long to in the forward line, can take a big wrestling contested mark. They don't have that, you're right. And maybe you see Roughhead do it, you see Buddy do it, you see Hawkins do it for Geelong. Maybe that's something Port Adelaide need to add to their team.
There's not a lot of those forwards in the comp. Tex Walker's another one, but not every team have them.
Over the top is Monfries. Monfries gathers, thought about Ryder, then kicks the goal. Just in the nick of time. Under 3 minutes, 30 points down.
The ball gets over the back there, and Monfries makes the most of it. So they remain a 5-goal margin out.
Isn't that a bit why Paddy Ryder has been brought into the club, though, as a long forward option?
Yeah, he is, but he's more of a movement forward. He's not a real stand and deliver in the Tom Hawkins mould or the Jared Roughhead as we're talking about.
Coming out this way, guys.
Yeah, just got over the back there. The spoil didn't get enough purchase on it. They're made to pay there, the Swans defence.
Pretty good second up game from Angus Monfries. He was the sub last week, didn't have a real impact. We know he didn't get any pre-season game time in. Well done there from Ollie Wines, the young gun. He's tried his heart out. Speaking of young stars, what about that pickup from Isaac Heaney? And the left foot ball to Franklin is just...
Das, that is ridiculous play by Isaac Heaney in his second game of AFL footy. The clean pickup, as you called it, and then to just spin, hit on his left foot, Buddy Franklin lace out. That is brilliant football by the youngster.
Mark's out.
This is ridiculous, isn't it? You're not supposed to be that good in your second game.
How quickly did he turn as well?
Well, this is the Franklin pocket. We know not many left-footers like to find themselves in this sort of situation, but Buddy over the journey has done it better than anyone I've ever seen. That one, he didn't really get in the right direction. Footy bouncing is still alive. Redden rushing through. And with a couple of minutes remaining in the third quarter, Port would love to be able to get it to the other end and put a bit more pressure back on.
Yeah, it's been hovering around the 30-point margin for most of the quarter. After Sydney kicked the first 3 goals of this third quarter through Jack, Lloyd and Canterbury getting his second. And they haven't been able to make any inroads really since then, Port. Corns had the ball intercepted there by Kennedy. Bird involved in the handball as well. And now an opportunity for Lloyd back to Bird from the standing start. Gets it inside 50, time ticking down. 1:40 remaining in this third quarter now. Sydney looking dangerous. Kennedy wrapped up in the tackle here. Ball pinned, no prior.
Guys, Justin, Mike.
Kennedy, the first half of this quarter was quiet, but he's now up to 27 and 10 clearances. He's just unstoppable. You can't tag him. You can't stop him.
Corns out the back, was able to deliver it into the midfield. Hartland to White. White's got no one downfield that he can kick it to at all. Not one person. That's why he's handballed it to himself. This could be a great play. Then the little kick. So it's a 50-metre play without getting another player involved. Well done, Matty White.
Well called, BT. He had nothing. And as you said, he made 50 metres by just forcing it forward, Matty White. Kick goal of the year last year, we remember at Etihad Stadium against Richmond.
Started as a sub, Matty White. Jarman Impey, who was subbed out in the second quarter, and he's been a really dangerous looking player for White. He's been, for Port Adelaide White, he's been the one who has broken the lines. I'd love one here. The Ryder go third man up. Redden got forced off it. Boat trying hard. Jack bowled him over. And now Jetta, the one-step barrel, looking for space. Pittard, the first man back. He's going to find a teammate here in Westhoff. They'll go inside 50 again. Going to wait. Shapes to go outside. Eventually has to go to Pittard. 40 seconds remaining. What can Pittard do? Normally good on the left foot. That wasn't really well placed. Wines had no opportunity, but Kennedy would have marked that. Normally would have thought spills out to Polak. Polak's going to go back and get it.
On the left foot, he was running into a goal if he hadn't fumbled there, Das. Opportunity now for Corns. 25 seconds, clock ticking. Corns long ball. Here comes Westhoff. Over the top, couldn't hold the mark. Laidler now at the back. Now they're under pressure here, Sydney. They've got to hold on. Can't afford to concede. Oh, gee. Smith fumbled it into goal square. Hartlett got tackled. He wanted the high one. It wasn't there. 7 seconds in the quarter remaining. Boy, that was unusual from Jay Schultz. He gave the stiff man look lying on the ground. It was unusual. Siren sounds. Quarter ends without further score for Port Adelaide. But boy, didn't they fight on in the end. Sydney have been sensational. 31-point leaders at three-quarter time. Port 6-5-41 to Sydney 11-6-72. Back with the last quarter action in just a moment. Huge intensity, big start, 50,000 in the house. Jetta went early. He didn't get one in the first quarter because this running goal from just beyond the arc meant that he had 2. Sydney led it by 12 at quarter time. Wingard stepped up. In fact, they kicked 3 of the next 5 goals here at Port Adelaide, and they only trailed by 1 goal midway through that second quarter. Hanbury towards the end of that second quarter, a long one, a big one. He liked it. And then, of course, we saw Gary Rowan finish it off. So at half-time, it was Sydney by 20 points. Not a big margin at all, but they've been playing great footy. And then, early in that third quarter, Lloyd put him 31 points up. Hanbury with his second goal was just brilliant. And you just wonder whether Port can come back from this. It's been a big night for them here in a packed stadium. And there are the scores at half-time. 41 plays 72. Sydney in front.
Yep, super impressive Sydney Swans. Let's get down to Cameron.
Please watch movie after movie, episode after episode of the world's most popular shows. Get more choice. Go to presto.com.au for a free 30-day trial.
Just very excited to get down to you, Lingy. I couldn't wait. What do you make of it all?
Well, I appreciate that, Das. Always nice to be feel welcome. One thing I want to look at, when we talk about work rate in a team and in a player, this is what I'm talking about. This is Gary Rowan here. He takes the mark, makes the mistake of playing on, gets tackled, caught holding the ball. That happens in a game of footy, we know that. But keep your eye on Gary Rowan now. What happens after this? His effort to chase and join back in defensively is just outstanding. As we don't get the end of that, we'll go to that later on. You guys join in from the centre bounce.
Start of the last quarter, just running his own agenda down there at the moment, Lingy. High board, goes forward again. So what have Port Adelaide got? They're 31 down. Expect some manic approach from them. And Sydney, by the other hand, have been great defenders and scored every time Port have challenged them. Sydney have been able to answer on the scoreboard. Let's see what happens here in the last quarter. Richo, what do you make of it all?
Well, they've got to be one-on-one, that's for sure. And looking forward, at the moment, Sam Reid is loose back, so it's going to be pretty hard. Oh, he's been drawn out of it now. So that's the start. They've got one-on-ones forward of the footy. They need to kick it in there and get a contest. And then you've got to have work rate to get up to the fall of the ball.
Bird's going to send them inside forward 50 again, getting back there. Polak, but he overran it. His work rate's been extraordinary. Polak. Wow. So pretty quick call, that one. We know it's a focus now by us this year.
So it's a legal disposal holding the ball.
So Polak trying to argue the case there.
That's it, yep.
You heard the explanation. You put it on the ground. That's your prior opportunity. What do you think of this one, Richo?
Oh, gee, he sort of fell to the ground and the ball was there, but I suppose he let go of it, so dropping the ball.
Lewis Jetta's had a big night tonight. He's kicked goals at opportune times. Kicked 2 in the first quarter. That one steered wide.
Sort of just rested it on the ground. He didn't drop it, but I think it was there. So here goes Pittard.
That wasn't a good kick, was it? 3 Swans players converging on that. Rampy, fast becoming an elite defender if he's not already. Alapati Carlisle over the back. Ebert, Gray, touched it. Alapati Carlisle wanted the give and go. Ollie Wines, a good ball carrier up the ideal diddle. He goes, finds Schultz. Schultz got Need over the top. The kick went a little higher than Need. Wanted, he had to come back and get it. He would have liked to keep running towards goal. It doesn't matter though. His kick misses Hartland. Now Wines has got to go again. Richards is there. Wines hovering. He'll need to knock it out or he'll get pinned here. Teddy Richards all over it. Eventually Wines has got the footy, and at least there's salvaged the ball at their end of the ground.
Yeah, they were out then. It was a rare opportunity where Need was out on that far side. He could have run on with the football, but 2 kicks in a row didn't hit targets. That's their referred pressure from the Swans. It's been there all night.
What another great sign for the young gun, Ollie Wines, just 20 years of age. The umpire there just explaining what's going on, and he just has been so composed again tonight.
Push out. Come back. Free kick, you just push him straight out.
You hear the explanation there. The ruck free kick against Mike Pike. Ryder, he's got a lead he likes further afield. Schultz tried to work Grundy underneath the foot, he couldn't do it. Rampy has been impassable back there. As BT said, he's an elite defender of the game now. Carlisle and Rowan.
One move that Port Adelaide have made, they've thrown Chad Wingard up around the ball. He's only had the 12 possessions. He has kicked a goal, but hasn't had a huge impact on the game like we expect from him. They've thrown him around the ball, trying to get the ball in his hands, and know how damaging he can be if that happens.
A bit of consistent Sydney with their pressure in round 1 against the Bombers. They had lapses in that real intensity tonight. There's just been an epic display as they surge forward again, looking for Franklin. Hobbs has tried hard. Centering footy, but he's been a man on a mission tonight. He wants to smash into everyone.
There's a bit of overlap running. Trengove, so they've got it from one side to the other. Now Hartland in the middle, sees an opportunity here. Pittard can go, got around Heaney. Now he goes with that strong left. Opportunity for Monfries. Really well done. Now, he's not a big, powerful kick, Monfries, but this kick suits him. And the reason it suits him is he's a big bender of the ball from right to left. He's a hooker of the footy, but he's not a big kick.
So he'll right post, BT, right goal post.
For him, probably. As he's ironed it out over the summer, Richard.
You've gone.
There he goes. He thought about the short pass, so he's undecided about the distance here, I reckon. Indeed he is. High ball, top of the square. Paddy Ryder flies. He couldn't win it. Hanbury elected to hang on to it. And great confidence it was, getting rid of it as well. Bird out the back door. So Sydney just relieving a little bit of pressure here, though. Tippett fighting with Trendo. Ball knocked away, picked up Broadbent. Handball to Pittard. Been quite good tonight. Now an opportunity to drive it long into the hot spot. Here goes Grundy. Kennedy went up. They all stayed down. Port. Gray gave it back to Ryder. Big hook around the body. Won't get there. And Rampy will sit under this.
You mentioned Pittard, BT, off half-back. It's a career best night for him, disposal-wise.
Hanbury and Hamish Hartland do battle. Wingard, as Cameron Link pointed out, they pushed him into the midfield. He's had no impact on the game. Polek forcing the footy forward through the arms of Ryder. How impressive is Rampy? Played his first game of AFL footy at just 17 years of age. Basketball, soccer background, BT.
Is he the one that's going to step up for Melcheski?
Yeah, that's all right. He looks as though he's an ideal replacement, Rampy.
Well done, Matty Broadbent. That was brave. He copped the knock in the first quarter from Dan Hanbury. Has had problems with his ribs all night. That is gutsy to take that sort of mark.
Yeah, great call. I think it was a great effort. Westhoff wants to play on. Centering footy out the back. Schultz gets a run at it. Couldn't keep it in and through for a minor score. Let's have a look at great courage there from Broadbent.
Oh, absolutely. And we know that he saw it, but he never, ever looked like taking his eyes off that ball. He knew Franklin was coming. He braced for contact. Brave mark.
Lingy Melcheski was their leading kick getter last year, Sydney, whether it be short, long, or just general kicks. As you see Rampy affecting his position as well?
Yeah, absolutely, BT. Rampy, with maybe Gary Rowan doing it at times, but Rampy probably the man.
On free centering ball, Reid was there.
Looks like they're going to keep developing Sam Reid down back, which I think is a good move. Grundy and Teddy Richards are not getting old, but they're into the latter stages of their careers, so they need to look further ahead. Reid may be the man for the future down there.
Going to let Adam Goods, the young guy, loose shortly. The veteran. game's record holder for Sydney. Ebert started as a sub tonight, and he's still there. Gee, the umpire blew his whistle, and then he said play on to Wingard. Fair enough. He realised he'd made a mistake, so why not? Hartlett now. Little kick back inside. Westhoff's got to get down. Look at the three Swans closing over the top. Gave it to Alapati Carlisle. Alapati Carlisle tried to get around the lot. Then he gave it off. And now the turnover complete through Gary Rowan and Smith.
What about this pressure from the Swans? They are irrepressible tonight. Desperation. You just have got no time. If you're a Port Adelaide player, everything is under the most intense pressure. You've got to pay respect to this outfield. And you've got Buddy Franklin as their gun key forward. He's laid a huge amount of pressure tonight.
And Das, on the back of that, your two key forwards, as you said, Buddy Franklin's had 6 tackles, Tippett 7, 2 and 3 highest tackles in the game from your two key forwards. Fantastic effort.
It's a great sign, isn't it, Lloyd, now to Franklin. Awkward bouncing footy for him. Hobbs has tried hard, but he couldn't keep it in with a little toe poke.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Teddy Richards is 32, Grundy's 29. So Teddy's getting old and Grundy's nearly getting old. So Sam Reid, it's a good move to keep developing him down back.
Thanks for clearing that up for us, Richo. Sorted that one.
Well, they are.
They're
Footy old.
They're
Footy
durable old tue, aren't they? They play week in, week out. Grundy's only missed one game in the last 3 years. Parker's kick goes deep inside 50. And we've got an opportunity to reset. It's been an interesting night for Ken Hinkley tonight. He's maintained his composure, BT, but he's had his questions asked right throughout this contest.
Got to find a win pretty soon. And that was a throw, I thought, by Tippett as Buddy Franklin dribbles it through off the deck and gets a spectacular little foot goal.
He's happy with that, Buddy. So he should be. I've seen him do that a lot over the years. He can do everything. Big man, 6'5", 6'6". Gets the job done. Gets goals from play. Gets a lot of goals from play. Doesn't rely on leading and marking as a key forward. That's what makes him a superstar.
Have a look at the fancy footwork from Buddy here. Ball hits the deck. No problems. No problems at all. That's great.
Anyone else, you'd think that was a fluke, but Buddy to say, well, he meant that. That's skill.
It's been a complete performance tonight from this outstanding unit, the Sydney Swans. They've done it all. Enjoying 37-point lead. Westhoff's left foot tumbler is a bit of a reflection of the game. Looks like the game's record holder warming up, Richo.
Here he goes. We'll have another look at that. The soccer goal from Buddy. That's unbelievable. He knew exactly what he was doing there. They've had 9 goal kickers tonight. Only kicked 12 goals.
Lingy, the sub's been activated.
Yes, Goodsy runs straight on, trying to get straight into the action as well. Gary Rowan, the man, subbed off for the Swans.
Robbie Gray has battled hard. Parker slick around the clearance situation to Kennedy. Possession number 29, that was for Joey Kennedy. Tippett, he's battled hard and applied some pressure. And Gary Rowan's had a really effective night tonight as well. I think he'll be pretty happy with his output. Worth another look, this one, Richo.
Yeah, beautiful. As Slingy said, it'd be a fluke for most people, but when you do it nearly every week, it's no fluke.
Boak. Ebert, Need. Need immediately goes wide, looking for White. White had to come back and get the footy. Now Need can go again here. White will just drop it over the top, and he does it really nicely. So good running from Jakey Need.
Yeah, he had to do that, Jake Need. He had to push. They had nothing up ahead, so great work rate.
Goes down the line. Monfrey's the intended target here. Well done by McVeigh. Over the top, slips straight back in, as you said earlier, Richo. McVeigh, no problems at all. He hasn't been missing as he heads towards his 250th game as well.
Kennedy and Jack have had 20 clearances between them tonight out of Sydney's 40. Senior players, very consistent, just get the job done.
There's a real clean one. Here he is. Adam Gorge breaking the tackle. Sees Kennedy wide, the man Richo speaks of. Nice little low ball into Tippett. He wants to immediately give it off to the other guy Richo was talking about, and Jack. And here's one that he didn't mention in Hanbury. Alapati Carlisle came through. Need. Tried to take on the Jack tackle. Now Alapati, little kick around the corner. It's going to come back, though, as Laidler in the middle.
A little fumble, Laidler. The opportunity there for Wingard. What about Parker just barreling in after the footy? No ill effects from a heavy knock last week. Reid, Richo said, spent a lot of time in defence. Heaney bounced off his chest. Alapati Carlisle, great follow-up tackle from Heaney. Opens the door for Towers. Towers, a bit of icing on the cake. It's all the Sydney Swans. They've dominated this one. 43-point leaders.
Just their pressure tonight. The amount of turnovers they've forced Port Adelaide into. From go to woe, they have not relented. It's been an outstanding game by the Swans here tonight. Really shut down Port Adelaide's strength, their transition and their run from half-back. They haven't allowed them to run and link up from defensive 50 to forward 50. Forced them to kick the football. Great effort.
Well, you mentioned, BT, about the start to the year. North Melbourne at Adelaide Stadium will be a challenge. Hawthorn is going to be a huge game here back at Adelaide Oval. Adelaide Crows in the showdown. What a tough start to the year for Port Adelaide. A bit of soul-searching you'd feel after this game is completed tonight as Heaney, the young gun, goes forward. Franklin gets a gift, and he deserves it, bud. He has worked his heart out, the champ. And an opportunity to kick his third goal on the back of a huge work rate tonight, Richard.
Yeah, spot on, Das, because you often get late goals when you work hard for the whole game, and he's done all of the tough things, and he might get rewarded with a few late here.
Kicked 8 of the last 10 goals, but he kicks his third. It has been a dominant Sydney Swans on display tonight.
Done all of the hard stuff tonight, Buddy Franklin. 7 tackles. That's the #1 forward on the ground. Getting 7 tackles. That means he's chased, harassed, he's knocked guys over. He's been a big presence out there tonight. Used his size, laid some bumps. Johnny Longmire will be wrapped with his performance tonight. Only 3 goals, but it's been a really good game for Buddy.
Well, Johnny Longmire and the games to come. GWS up at the SCG next week. Then Freo, Dogs in good form at the moment. And at Melbourne as well. In his 5th season, Johnny Longmire finishes of 6th, 1st, 4th and 2nd. What will it be this year for the Sydney Swans? We know they're going to be obviously one of the teams right at the top end, but where is it going to finish for them? Right up to Gray. And now an opportunity for Need deep inside the attack zone. Off hands Goods. Bounds away with a long handball, intercepted by Need. Now to Pollock. Thought about going wide, and a lot of handball being used here by Port at the moment. And now the kick eventually goes forward, and nicely taken by Schultz on the chest.
Loves those high chest marks, Jay Schultz. Takes them on the lead a lot. The last time Port Adelaide won the minor premiership in 2002 and 2003, and they started both of those seasons 0-2. So can history repeat itself here this year?
Schultz kicked the first goal that Port got tonight, and this won't add to the tally as Grundy just like he was taking a mark at training.
An unusual kicking night, Jay Schultz, tonight. Opportunities that would normally expect him to get, Richo.
Yeah, he could have kicked 4 goals tonight. He's kicked 1, 2, didn't even make the distance on that occasion. He's kept presenting though, and that's what you've got to like about his game.
That shot there sums up the way this game's felt tonight. It's almost as though the Swans have had 5 extra players around the footy all night. They've swarmed around the contest. They've won more contested situations. Ollie Wines has been outstanding. Again, Westhoff, slick little handball was pretty good. At Wingard, his right foot bender, had a little too much on it.
Darcy, you're right about the fact they've been great around the contest, got their hands on the ball, and possessions are pretty even, clearances they're up, but the amazing thing is despite the amount of footy that they've won, they've out-tackled them by 24 in a game, which is a huge margin, 70-46. So it shows how hungry and committed this Sydney team is this year. They really want to make up for what they'd be extremely disappointed in last year in that grand final performance against the Hawks.
Little kick backwards by Reece Shaw. What did you say it was, BT? 19 out of the last 20 or 18 out of the last 19?
Thank you.
So they've had one bad game, really, haven't they?
Yep, it was. They were, before prelim final last, or grand final last year, they were the team. Remember, they were the team in red-hot form. They were almost unbackable, weren't they? And they continue on. We thought it was just a little iffy last week, but obviously they took a little while to get going.
Well, they've reasserted tonight that they are Hawthorn's #1 threat this year.
Yep. Throwing the Dockers into that. Nice thought by the staff here at the Adelaide Oval. Of course, the much-loved Richie Beno would have called many numbers off this very scoreboard here at the Adelaide Oval. Ray in low. Polak there, Corns hovering over the top, and I think both sides would be happy to call it quits right now, but still 7¼ minutes remaining here. It's a worthwhile football to play. Umpire Lee Fisher throws it up. Not many Sydney supporters in this venue. If you don't know whether we can get a wide look or not, but there are very, very few. They don't let them in. If you come from another team,
how many tickets?
This is a portrait. You can't get in.
There's the Sydney cheer squad. How many tickets do the opposition teams get?
I think about that many. Looks like about 50 here, but amazing scene. It's all teal and black at the moment.
Good tackle.
It was indeed, and Wingard the beneficiary.
Well, that's a great sign. Chad Wingard's had a bit of a night to forget tonight. He hasn't really been able to get involved, but good to see him still powering after a run down from behind tackle attempt. Pittard is going to take on a couple of Swans. He did it pretty nicely to Monfries. Pittard again, a little 1-2 back, and now Matt White has run hard. Rampiel mown down. Willie White's got genuine leg speed. Kicks a good one. What can Ryder do? Grundy put some body heat on him. Kieran Jack got back. He's been a super effective player tonight.
Gee, they've been good at getting back and supporting tonight. I thought he was one out there, Ryder, and gee, Jack worked hard to get back and crumb that footy off the contest.
I'm feeling a lot of sides will be just taking note of the way the Swans have approached Port Adelaide at home. Really congested the situation up. And I'll tell you what, if you're looking for improvement, there's a young lad called Isaac Heaney who's now part of this Swans outfit, and he looks an automatic selection.
Does everything right, doesn't he?
Just incredible composure for a young player. Going back with the flight. Parker's going to get a free kick against Shields. Quizzical look from Shields.
He can only contest it with one arm. There's no point looking at the replay.
I think he's right, Jay.
Yeah, I think he is too.
Who's got whose jumper, he said.
You're on the mark there, Jay.
No point looking.
It's a polite question from Jay Schultz. It just hasn't been their night tonight. Luke Parker.
Jay should have come back and said, have a look during the week, mate.
Yeah. Best and fairest winner last year, Luke Parker. 35 disposals last week before going off with that heavy hit. He collided with Buddy Franklin. He was the best player on the ground at that stage. Luke Parker, great to see him. No ill effects tonight.
Indeed it is. Broadbent, good kick down the middle. Risky, but it did the job. Matty White.
One little concern for Port Adelaide at the moment, apart from the scoreboard, of course, as Matty White gets away with that one, is the fact they pride themselves on their last quarters and their running power. 8 scoring shots to 3 last week against, 5 to 2 against this week. So maybe they're not running games out quite as well as they'd like to at the moment.
Wingard around the corner. Normally he would hit that kick easily, and it tumbles to the boundary.
Yeah, they have missed a lot of those kicks tonight. 50,000 people here again.
49,765. So they've averaged their night games here, Richo, 50 and 48 for their day games. Good effort. 40 basically sold out this venue at 50,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they haven't had a lot to cheer about tonight, and they haven't been able to really electrify the ground because Sydney shut them out from the very first minutes of the game when Jetta goal. boat to grey to Monfries. And a minor score.
Seen a little bit tonight, BT. Ollie Wines just looked back at Angus Monfries' show and said, hey, you've got to give that one. There's been a little bit of angst on the field, which happens when you're getting outplayed.
But being strangled in it, there's a bit of frustration showing.
Rhys Shaw, not that long ago, that man had Lars surgery on his knee in late 2013 and concerns about how he would return. He came back, played 20 games last year, and convinced him that it was a good decision to play on again in 2015, Rhys Shaw. This is the start to the year, Richo. I think he'll be even happier that he's out there again.
This is their biggest loss for a while. The biggest loss for Port last year was 26 points, and it was to Sydney at this venue. So they haven't been beaten like this for a long time.
Jonas comes wider to Schultz, has had to push all the way deep into defence.
What about Sydney? They haven't conceded a last quarter goal this year. 0-0 to the Bombers last week in the last quarter. 0-2 this week to Port. So just conceding the two behinds in two last quarters of footy. So far, Sydney. Westhoff. Little present-up ball. Wines couldn't get a pick on it. McVeigh's handball, a little sharpish. Mike Pike. Got it there to Towers. Off to Hanbury. Sydney forward again, but it'll be Trengove here. Down the line. Kick a little short for Hobbs. Goes back and get it. Got a nice left foot. Hobbs turns around. Long footy. Monfries the intended target. Couldn't win it. Off hands. Nicely tied up. McVeigh short to Grundy. 2:30 remaining here. Going to be a really good win for the Sydney Swans. They confront GWS at the SCG next week. And Port have got North to contend with at Etihad Stadium.
Kick from Lloyd, looking for Goods. Just hung in the air a little too much, and Adam Goods, who enjoying a little run around as a sub in the last quarter here. Out and out champion Adam Goods has been over 350 games. Two-time Brownlow medal winner, and the unfamiliar role as a sub tonight. Kennedy, there is Goods. Umpire saying not enough contact to the head. Goods, you're not overly happy with that. So Franklin has a little rest. Well deserved. He's, as we pointed out, 8 tackles tonight, 17 possessions, 3-goal performance from Buddy Franklin. And underestimated just how unselfish a team player he is, the big Bud. He does all the little things you'd want. He really works over time for the team.
His second efforts, his tackling has just been outstanding tonight.
Well, we started off with the Farris brothers from In Excess. Never Tear Us Apart was the big start of the night. And, of course, Sydney have done exactly that. They've torn them completely apart, Richo.
They have.
And they have been
really impressive.
The complete professional team that you would expect. And Port will know they've got plenty to build on here. Monfries and Shaw argue there. Need went without it. Goods. Richards. Rampy. Just doing it very nicely as Rampy. Shaw. Little kick there to Bird. And now an opportunity for Monfries to score here. Won't get it. High footy, top of the square they go. Sydney arrive in some numbers here. Ollie Wines has to think about it. Gray try to just bust his way through. Every time they get the footy, they're under pressure. Here at the moment, Port Adelaide. What do you think about this little hiccup, Cameron Ling, for Port Adelaide and Ken Hinkley?
Well, it does make it hard when if they go 0-2, which of course they will tonight, then that hard run that we've seen, they could easily end up 4-2 because they're that good a team, but they could also end up 0-6 because they're playing against good opposition. If it gets to that stage, that's where you can't end up being able to manage your players throughout the season because you're always scrambling for wins. So it means that they've got to then chase a win. They know they're going to get top 4 at the end of the year. They're still a good team. But just these early losses just set you on the back foot a little bit. So it does play a part come later on in the season.
I think they need to get Lobe back, and I think he's 1 or 2 weeks away. Jared Redden's needed to run tonight. He's only had the 6 hit-outs right as 17, whereas Pike and Tippett have been dominant. It's given the Swans that advantage in the clearance. Has got the ball moving their way. They'll be pretty keen to get Lobe back.
Yeah, he's an important player for them. Richo's got a quad strain at the moment. Ken Hinkley, to do a bit of soul-searching tonight, Kenny. He's had a great run in his short tenure so far as the coach of Port Adelaide. They have met an irresistible force tonight, the Sydney Swans. It's been a complete performance. We've spoken about Wingard. Still trying to get something working. Always under pressure. Hobbs' kick out wide. Needs tried hard. Nick Smith, and there's the siren, and all smiles for the Sydney Swans. They have dismantled Port Adelaide at home tonight in front of 50,000. A 48-point win to the Sydney Swans.
Yes, a very big win tonight for Sydney Swans. Let's get down to Cameron Ling with Josh Kennedy.
Well, Joey, it was a hard game of footy, really high pace, high intensity, high pressure, but you guys were just able to break them open. You must have been pleased with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the start we had last week was really disappointing. We knew that it was going to be on early with Port's first home game for the year, so that was a real focus of ours, and we were able to come out and do it. And
from your perspective, 11 clearances for the night. You were leading the way in tight there, but across the board, you really controlled those stoppages well, didn't you?
Yeah. You know, we just had a really good mix of contributors through there. Hannah's come through there. Parks has gone to the next level. He's a star. But, you know, and we knew that they're going to come out hard too. If they can get momentum, they can be a really damaging side. So just had to stop that throughout the game.
Good weekend to be named Josh Kennedy at the moment. 36 touches, 11 clearances for you. And the other bloke did OK last night as well.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind 10 goals. One day I can trade spots with him, but no, it is good. It's good to get a win, and it's good to be playing well too.
Well done tonight, mate. Great job.
Josh Kennedy there. Sydney did it well. They kicked 14, but I tell you what, Port only kicked 6 goals tonight. 6-8-44, the lowest score under the reign of Ken Hinkley that Port have managed in a game.
Yeah, it's not what you expected coming tonight, Richo. You just couldn't see it. You just felt they'd find a way, Port Adelaide, to kick goals. They were restricted right across the night. Let's get back down to Lee. He's got Dan Hanbury with him.
I have got Dan Hanbury. You've got the tape on the head. How is it? And a couple of stitches?
No stitches. I think I just got a bit of friendly fire at the back of the head, so just the old tape job, mate. Not the greatest looking thing in the world.
You had a great battle all night with Kane Corns. He's a quality player, but you're just able to work your way on top of him by the end of the night. Is that something you really pride yourself on, being able to beat quality players like that?
Oh, I mean, he's been a quality player for a number of years. He's a legend of the Port Adelaide Footy Club, and he's got me about 3 or 4 times in the last 2 years, so he's certainly had the better of the duels, mate, but it's good to get on the end of a few. But certainly the reason why that was the case was our midfield worked really hard, and we won the inside battle, so it was really critical.
We loved the games of Kurt Tippett and also Buddy Franklin, not for the goals, not for the marks, but they had 8 tackles each for the night. If you can have your 2 key forwards tackling like that, it lifts the whole team, doesn't it?
Yeah, our defence starts down there, and when those guys are pressuring like that, it just keeps the ball in there and builds that pressure. So that's what we're about, and it was great to get a quality win here tonight.
Sets up the season well, doesn't it? 2-0?
Yeah, definitely. It's huge for us to come here and in front of 50,000 and get that win. It's a huge start for us.
Well done, mate. Great job today.
Well, there you go. Cameron Ling down there with Mark Hanbury getting the job done here for Sydney tonight. Adam Good's happy. Teddy Richards looks very, very happy. And a big win for Sydney tonight. 14-8-92. Port 6-8-44. Plenty to come to us on the other side of the break.
Yeah, we've got a big post-game show. Stick with us. All the latest news. Some big results today.